Dear ones, today I'm sharing with you a recording of a live event I hosted on the topic of self-abandonment and how we can heal this challenging pattern. In the first part of this recording, I share what self-abandonment actually is from the perspective of internal family systems. You will understand why this pattern is not a choice and not a character flaw, but a survival response of our system. And then we go together into a healing meditation where you will meet the part of you that is doing the act of abandoning other parts of you and discover how it has been trying to actually, in fact, protect you all along. This is sacred work. I invite you to take it with care, find a quiet place, safe, with privacy. Don't listen to this on the go. If you know someone who would benefit from this episode, please share it with them. And if you enjoyed, leave a 5-star review. It helps the show to grow. Thank you and enjoy. I really love to see patterns and understand patterns of behavior and archetypes. What's interesting about looking at the topic of why do we abandon ourselves is to understand that there is self, right? There is something in us or ourselves that is doing abandoning to ourselves. Just kind of understanding the concept a little bit more in detail. So ideally, we want to stop doing this to ourselves. We want to stop neglecting our own needs. And we want to move into a place where we feel clear and confident, courageous, and be in our energy, own our energy, own our soul and body and mind, and just not land it all over the world, all over the place, to everyone around. So in my practice, I have been discovering a lot about why this happens and why this pattern kicks in. From the nervous system perspective, there is a nervous system response that is not very frequently named, but it is a response of fawning. So fawning means we abandon what we feel. We abandon our sensations in the body, our intuitions, our wisdom, our knowing, our gut feeling, in order to adapt ourselves to the environment. And why I'm saying environment, usually it's people in our environment. So we need to abandon ourselves in order to adapt or change, transform ourselves so that we are in harmony with people in our environment. Dear friends, I want to share some really exciting news with you. This November and December, I will be hosting my signature 5-stage spiritual healing journey that I call Soul Revival in Bali. And I want to personally invite those of you who have been with me before on retreats or in one-to-one work, and also those of you who have always wanted to join me but haven't done that yet. I really feel this might be the best moment to do so. Soul Revival is a very deep and very sacred work. We will do energy healing, chakra clearing and awakening, spiritual ceremonies, meditations, and so much more. And it's a journey back to your soul, back to your essence. And so I will be there with you, fully present, guiding you through every step of the way. And this place where this will happen, when Soul Revival takes place, is truly magnificent. It really won my heart. It's a luxury, wellness, and longevity sanctuary in Nusa Dua. Hot and cold plunges, saunas, infrared therapy, everything your body needs to thrive. So while we do the deep work of the soul, your body will be taken care of in the best possible way. With Michelin Guide level holistic cuisine and some of the best spa treatments on the whole island. Healing the soul while nourishing the body. That's what makes this experience so special. I invite you to discover more about the soul revival process and everything it entails. And if you feel called to join this experience, you can book a complimentary introduction call with me so you can ask me your questions directly and see if this is exactly what you are looking for. More details on blissbodyjourneys.com. The link is in the show notes. For example, if I'm living with a rageful person that can have very rapid changes of mood, and I never know, will I catch this person in a good mood, or something I do or say, or any kind of tiny little disagreement or conflict can cause like a big fight or big scene, and things can escalate pretty fast. Then to adapt to live in this environment with this person, I will have to start walking on eggshells, tiptoeing, getting my voice quieter, not confronting, not opposing, suppressing all of myself in order to be more agreeable, easier for that person, and just nice for that person. And that is a response of the nervous system. It's autonomic nervous system response. So that means we do not choose this behavior. And that's the point that I want to make today. We do not choose this behavior. We are forced into self-abandonment. We are forced into this behavior. And this is very important to understand, that our nervous system, and actually for humans, it's uniquely developed this particular, there is freeze, there is fight, there is flight, but fawning is only occurring among humans. Other nervous system responses are among all animal kingdom and humans. So you get the point, right? In when we start fawning, when we become very, very nice, accommodating, we always think about other people's needs, sense checking their mood. How are they feeling today? What would they like? What would they need? We definitely disconnect from ourselves. We definitely forget ourselves. And then we are just wired to work hard in order to please everyone, to make everyone happy, in order to make our environment more safe, less conflict, less pain, less arguments, and de-escalate the energy in the house. So a lot of us, unfortunately, have been growing into this kind of harmonizers in our environments. Maybe it's in families, maybe later in our own families. But sometimes when there is an unpredictable person, rageful, or just, we don't know what's happening there, we need to adapt ourselves to survive next to that person. And first, I want just to name that there is definitely a lot of grieving has to happen around the topic of self-abandonment, because sometimes I meet people in their 50s, 60s, and they did spend their life saying, my needs are not important, my wishes are not important, it's for kids, it's for these people, it's for the community, it's for everyone, but not themselves. So there is something to grieve about living life from a place of self-neglect, and there is always a part of us that is not fulfilled, whose needs are not met, and then that That's something to grieve, and that can make, our heart feel heavy and make us feel there is no one there for us and no one actually knows who we are, what we want, what we need. And we just feel very, very sad and very, very alone very often. So also in this modern culture today, we know that we do self-abandon. We know that. We know I abandoned myself for this and for this. And also we start picking on ourselves, or we start getting angry with ourselves, or we start judging ourselves for being like this. So we perceive ourselves, I'm a people pleaser maybe, or I just don't have boundaries, I'm a doormat, and maybe your best friend says, stop being a doormat, put your boundaries, stop abandoning yourself. But it's so invalidating because self-abandonment is nothing but a trauma response. It's nothing but a survival strategy. And it's easier said, just relax, speak your truth, be authentic, put your boundaries, go for it. It's so invalidating for those of us that are terrified of not meeting other people's needs, and terrified what consequences that could lead to. So as I'm speaking, just those of you here, check in with yourself and just notice what's your system saying? How are you feeling? What are you noticing inside of you? When I would tell you, just stop self-abandoning. Maybe there is a sense of hopelessness and helplessness, like, I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to stop doing that. Maybe there is a sense of rage and anger. Why? Why am I like this? When am I gonna stop doing this? I told myself so many times. So just notice, how are you towards this side of you that is doing the self-abandonment? That's very important to see, because it's not just one part, or you just, you're just don't know better, or you're just crazy doing this. It's not that simple. We need to get a bit more sophisticated in understanding why these patterns live inside of us, and they are corrosive to our life and our sense of self. So let's go into nitty and gritty of it and stop shaming that and shaming ourselves and blaming and attacking ourselves for doing the self-abandonment. Now I want to really show you in dissection. So I work with a therapy model that is called internal family systems therapy model. If you've never heard about that, I highly recommend to explore this. It's probably the most fascinating, integrative approach to healing, trauma healing, and any kind of, inner work. It is wonderful, and in my practice, this changes people's lives 180 degrees. So explore that. But basically, when it comes to self-abandonment, what I want you to see is there is so a part of us that is abandoning ourself, another part of us. So if for a moment we just look at it, what we would see are two parts. For example, in this situation, a part of me wants to say, no, I don't like this. So disagree and put a boundary. No, I don't like this. I will not do this. For example, I don't know, someone calls you at 11 p.m. From work, right? A boss, for example, and saying, I just need that analysis, or I just need that thing done in 1 hour. I just need it done today. It's very important. I have an important meeting in the morning. So can you please do it today? Like, really, I need it today. Like, really, I need it today. And saying no feels dangerous. Saying no feels threatening in that moment, right? So ideally, what we want to tell the boss, first of all, we would not pick up the phone to begin with, right? It's 11 p.m., so absolutely no way we're picking up work calls. But okay, if the boss calls and we pick up the phone, what we want to say is that I truly understand. Therefore, It is my sleep time, and I will do it as soon as my next workday begins. So saying, no, I cannot do this. I'm sorry, I cannot do this. So there's a part of us that would feel, I really am so tired. I just really want to stop working, right? I can't do this. So just notice that feeling and just bring any situation in your life. It can be your parent asking something from you, your kid, or even maybe there is a narcissistic person in your life. Very, very often, people that do suffer from this fawning response or self-abandonment, they attract people that are on some level using it. And that's another topic, but yeah. So maybe there's a friend that is always asking more, or a person in your life that is asking more of you, kind of pushing you further and further. So you can just bring any situation from your life that you feel one thing. For example, you feel, no, I don't want to work now. I don't want to go to that meeting. I don't want to go to that gathering. I don't want to eat in this restaurant. I don't want to wear this clothes. I don't want to, like, it's a no, and I don't want to. Okay, so part of it feels, no, I don't want to. But you cannot say it. You cannot say, sorry, no, I don't want to. And you say, okay, I will do it. I will go there. I will try it. Okay, let's eat in that restaurant. So it's kind of just drops what originally you felt, drops what originally you wanted, and chooses what another person prefers or wants you to do. So it prioritizes their need to prioritizing your need, right? So that's in a nutshell, that self-abandonment, when we deprioritize ourselves and we prioritize something or someone more important. The question is, which part of you is doing that? Which part of you is doing the abandonment? Which part of you is saying, no, you can't say what you want. You have to choose what they want. Do it. Stay silent. Don't say anything. Do what they want. Stay silent. Don't say anything. Do what they want. Right? Which part of us is doing this? So this is important to understand, like get a bit more sophisticated. So instead of just giving you an hour talk on this, which I would love to do, but I would prefer maybe for us, especially we are in the self-development, self-exploration process, let's go inside and see for ourselves. Each of you will see inside for yourself. Why, what, where, and how. So take a moment. Let's start getting into our meditative space. You can find your comfortable seat. And make sure there is no distractions, no notifications. Make sure you are not driving, not cooking, not cleaning your house at the same time. Just sit back on your chair. If you want, you can lie down on your bed. So relax. Take a moment to relax. Then let's just start taking deep breaths together. So if it feels good, you can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and just take long, deep breaths. Inhaling into your nose. Hold your breath a little bit and exhale through your mouth. Inhale into your nose. Hold it. And exhale through your mouth. So we just want to decompress for a few moments here as we transitioning from being up in our heads, trying to solve the problem, In internal family systems, we call this being in our managers, meaning parts of us are doing manager roles, like they're just figuring it out. We want to give them a break now. We don't need to figure anything out right now. What we want is just to get into a place of being curious. So I invite you just to soften in the body and start getting curious. Start getting curious. Open your inner eye. Open the door to your inner world. And curiosity is the best thing, quality we need to understand ourselves on a deep level. And so internally, I welcome you to check and notice the part of you that has a desire, a wish, or a need. A part of you that feels something is a no or something is a yes. It's basically your organic state. It's your gut feeling, it's your wisdom, it's your intuition. You're going home with someone you met for the first time and your gut saying, it's not a good idea, don't go alone with that person. There's something in us already knows something. Or your body really tells you, I'm exhausted, I need a break, right? So just notice this kind of authentic state of your being, your truth, your clarity, your yes, your no. That's where your power is. And I know that for some of you, it might not be very easy to recognize what actually you want, who actually you are, what you actually stand for, because if the case was of self-abandoning for a long time, we do disconnect from this wisdom. But having said that, we cannot disconnect from this inner wisdom 100%, right? It's impossible. So something is there telling you something. You should speak your truth. So just notice that your internal truth, your organic, authentic state of being, what you feel, what you know, what you are. And now, let's project with you a situation where it's a moment. It's a moment to tell your boss you will not work at 11 p.m. It's a moment to tell your friend that you are not available for another 2 hours of listening to their story about their relationship. I witness this very often. It's a moment where it's time to act upon what you want, what you need, what you feel. Also project trying to express that, trying to say what you want to say to your spouse, to your parents, to your kids, to your boss, to your friend, whatever you need to say, however you need to act and behave. This morning I had a session with my client and she said that it was precisely about self-abandonment, and she said that one friend stole her idea and just created everything based on her idea, and she couldn't call her out on it and tell her that's not okay. So this type of experience. And now let's notice who in you, which part of you, who or what in you is doing this abandoning, is doing this no, don't do it. Don't say what you want, don't say what you need, don't say what you think. do what they want, do what they need. Please them, make them happy. Notice a part of you that chooses in a moment to express, to let the truth speak, or block the truth and make another choice that is centered based on another person, right? So notice which part of you is doing this, who holds the control mechanism, who holds the remote towards which direction you will go in this moment, pivotal moment. You will choose yourself or you will abandon yourself. Notice which part of you holds the remote control to you. Stay curious, just curious, or just getting to know your system a little bit deeper. Which part chooses to abandon your needs, your wants, your intuition, and your truth? Which part? And just side note, it's not our enemy. It's not a bad part. It's not a bad part, and you will understand now why. So I just need you to notice and sense, see, feel this mechanism inside of you, this part of you that says silence. Don't say, suppress. Don't speak your needs. Now you are not a part. And so I want you to ask that part that is doing the abandoning, to ask that part, what's helpful about it? How is this part that is doing the self-abandoning is trying to help you? How is this part trying to help you by self-abandoning? And just notice what you get in response. How's this part trying to help you? And I want to highlight that self-abandoning is not a choice. It is a survival strategy. And very often, unless there is something very specific going on in your system, very often we have to do this. We don't have choice. We have to abandon ourselves because we are afraid, or this part of us is very afraid, that if we will not abandon ourselves, something bad can happen to us. And there is a whole menu of all the fears, what can happen to you. And if you feel right, you can share here in the chat what is your protector, the one that is doing the abandonment. What is this part afraid can happen to you if it will choose you? From my practice, if I will not abandon myself and choose prioritize their needs, they will abandon me. So very often we abandon ourselves in order not to be abandoned by others. Very often we are fearful that people will stop loving us, appreciating us, choosing us, wanting to be with us if we will not be the version of ourselves that they want us to be. And we believe somewhere deeply there that if we just be ourselves, this person will turn away and leave. We have to do the pleasing. We have to be nice. We have to be perfect. The fear is I will be abandoned, disowned, and rejected. So can we just pause here for a second and just recognize that this is how our system is trying to prevent this biggest fear of ours to manifest as true, right? So there is a part of us that probably was abandoned before, something happened before, and when we were true to ourselves and when we acted upon our needs, someone didn't like it, or someone said, this is bad, you're bad when you're choosing yourself, you're bad, you're selfish. This is very common. I've heard that so many times in my life, and thank God, I do not doubt that my needs are important and need to be met, because I've heard it a lot. That doing what you want is selfish. So if someone of you also heard this kind of thing, yeah, put it in the chat. I'm sure we have a few. What else? Which other fears do we have? If we'll not self-abandon, what can happen to us? This person and other person can get out of control and something bad can happen. Sometimes it goes all the way to feel like my life is in danger. My life is in danger. It can be physical danger, right? It can be emotional danger, mental danger, financial danger, whichever danger, but there is some sort of danger. We are not abandoning ourselves just because it's fun, or we don't know better. We are abandoning ourselves because we do not feel safe not to. So just take a couple deep breaths here. I know this topic is very sensitive. And if we can just pause and offer our system, offer ourselves a little bit of compassion. That somewhere deep, 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 deep there, the stakes are so high. The fear is so deep that our system has to default to the strategy of abandoning ourselves. Now, we can have just a little conversation with this protector part of us. The protector part of us is doing self-abandoning. It sounds like really bad, that this part is bad and it's doing something really bad, but if you interview it and if you understand its real intention, what you will discover is that I'm trying to save your life. I'm trying to save your family. I'm trying to save your job. I'm trying to save your relationship. So at the bottom of it, it's a part of us that has a good intention. All our parts have good intention for us. If something doesn't have good intention for us inside of us, it's not a part of us, and that's a whole different conversation. So there is a good intention, right? The strategy is bad. Self-neglect. The intention is good. So we will meet with you now, this protector. So I would like you to visualize this protector, the self-abandoner part of you. And almost like imagine you're standing in front of that part. And ask that part, how old do you think I am? Ask that part, how old do you think I am? And this is a very important question. Very often, the self-abandonment strategy it starts in the beginning of our lives. So when your part answers the question, usually that's when life or people stopped being safe. And this protector stepped into this role in order to prevent something bad from happening. So you may be 3, 4, 5 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old. It depends. So ask this protector if this part can see you in the present time. Not as a 3-year-old, not as a 7-year-old. If this part that is doing the self-abandoning, preventing, if it knows who you are, and if it knows how old you are today. And so we call this updating. We call this updating. We are updating parts of us that are stuck in the past, and they still feel and see that we are this little children that need our mommy and daddy, need someone there. And there is no choice. We have to change ourselves in order to be lovable, be likable, be nice, be what other people want us to be. Unfortunately, I had that experience, but I was around 17, 18 years old, and I was forced to do what another person wants me to do in order to stay safe and survive. It was a real thing. Thank God I wasn't, super little, but it's still, even at that age, it was horrendous. It was maybe 4 good years of my life in total dismissal of who I am in order to be the way another person needed me to be so that I'm safe. So this is a wound, and let's be gentle. Let's be compassionate to this wound in us. So see how this protector respond when this part sees you as who you are today, that you are not young anymore, or not the child anymore. And that today you will not die, or starve, or be completely alone if you will choose to say what you want and what you don't want, and prioritize your needs, and be honest with yourself, be honest with others. Let the protector see that today it's not that dangerous anymore. In IFS, we call this updating. Today it's not that dangerous anymore. It's not life or death. When the earlier the years of our life, when this happens to us, the more it feels life or death. So today it's not life or death. Just let the protector see that today you are adult, and today it's not a life or death. I hope for you it's not a life or death situation. And there is choice. There is choice. And see how this protector responds. Is it softening? Is it processing? Is it taking its time to relax and finally see oh my God, we are okay, we are safe. Notice how your protector responds, how your protector reacts. And just for a minute, we will not spend a lot of time there, but just for a minute, I invite you to check and see inside of you. Which part feels scared? The protector that is doing self-abandonment is not scared. It's simply preventing. It's simply doing its job. It's just what needs to be done. But it's doing its job for another part, for someone there that is terrified. Terrified of conflict that can erupt into ugly scene. Terrified of violence. Terrified of being abandoned. Terrified of being gaslighted. Terrified of being emotionally abused. There is a part that is absolutely terrified. So meaning something happened or was happening. If you trust your gut, if you speak your truth, there is a price to pay. Something wrong can go. So just 1 minute, see, and if you don't want to go there, that's totally okay. But just 1 minute, see if you just want to meet that part that has really experienced shock and trauma and pain and suffering and loneliness and fear, all of that. We all have these parts, and they do not live in our mind. They are living in our body. So if it feels right, you can hug yourself or place your hands on your body wherever you feel like, and just give that part some compassion. So that child that is scared to be without love, connection, without family, without attention, scared to have something wrong happening around, just let that part of you know you're here. It's not alone. That inner child, let it know you're here and it's not alone. Beautiful. I just want to pause here for a moment and let you know that if you feel called to go deeper on your healing journey and you need someone safe, someone who can truly support you, I'd love to invite you to explore my signature program, Untangle, or my one-to-one retreats and private healing work. You will find all the details in the show notes or on my website, vladadesousa.com. Don't be shy. You're always welcome to connect with me in person through a complimentary call. And now, back to the episode. So I hope this journey gave you some understanding and some clarity. And I hope you will never look at yourself with eyes of judgment or criticism again, but you will look at yourself with eyes of compassion. And that's the first step to understand why your system is wired that way and offer your system all the compassion you can find. That's where the healing begins. What I want to say about self-empowerment. Self-empowerment occurs naturally and spontaneously when we do not carry, or our young, vulnerable, sensitive child parts are not carrying anymore the sense of danger, or we can just say trauma, right? When our young parts do not carry the trauma anymore, meaning the fear, the threat, abandonment, loneliness, all of that. When we manage to make those kids feel safe, and there is a protocol and there is a process to do that, in internal family systems. But basically, when we reparent and take care of these young parts of us that were exposed to dangerous or threatening people, situations, environments, when we give them the protection, when we help them to release their fears and anxieties, when we make them feel connected to us and make them feel safe, the self-abandoner or the fawner part of us doesn't have to work anymore. Basically, you do not feel in danger, you do not feel threatened, and therefore you don't have to play nice or play someone else, right? You just go for it. You just feel like yourself. So there is more space and there is more permission to be you. And that occurs absolutely effortlessly. You don't need to meditate on getting some kind of power somehow, somewhere. It happens automatically when we work with exiled parts that are burdened with this trauma and fears and anxieties. So that's what's happened. This work is very sensitive. I do not really go deep into the trauma healing work on this kind of events, and I just want to make sure everything is comfortable and safe and you feel better after. But I just want to explain you and show you that there is a process to it. Self-reparenting is the ultimate work that we need to do to become whole, complete, to become fulfilled, to become safe within. It's a self-reparenting work. And IFS, Internal Family Systems, is the perfect strategy for me. But the truth is that if our parents didn't have amazing parenting skills, we can learn them. We can learn them and practice on ourselves. I always say, reparent all your parts and all your inner children first, and then have your own children. Then everything just makes sense. When we do have a lot of unparented, properly children inside of us, it's hard to be consistent and present parents. So if you have kids, that would be amazing for you to do self-reparenting work as well. Thank you again for joining today. I send you all the love from Bali. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Your Soul's Therapist podcast. I want you to know that I deeply appreciate your willingness to find healing for your soul and add to our collective sanity. If you feel like this podcast offered you something valuable, I invite you to circulate a goodwill back by rating the show and clicking the button follow. If you will share this episode with your friends and family, I will be beyond grateful. My investment of time and energy to create this authentic content is significant, and your input and support can make a huge difference. And before you go, I want to remind you that each of our journeys are unique and truly complex. And my commitment is to look at your soul with clarity, to help you see what you might be blind to see, and gently guide you out of the places where you have been stuck. Whether you're drawn to my intuitive healing sessions or profound depth of counseling, I'm here, ready to accompany you on your path. Go to my website, vladadesousa.com, and choose the best way to work with me one-on-one. May you be blessed.